There are times when the law is not the same as justice. This was one such time. England groaned under the heel of Prince John, a regent who ruled with a fist of iron and a heart of gold. For himself, while the true King Richard fought in a foreign land, a sickness of greed spread from the stone castles to the muddy villages. Taxes bled the poor, and dissent was met with the sword. In this age of darkness, the people prayed for a hero. They did not know he would come, not from a castle, but from the deep, whispering heart of Sherwood Forest. Before the hood, there was the man, Robin of Loxley, a young lord loyal to King Richard, spoke out against the prince's tyranny. For this, the Sheriff of Nottingham sent his most brutal dog, Sir Guy of Gisborne, to make an example of him. They came at dawn with fire and steel. Robin's father was cut down defending his home. His lands were seized, and Robin himself was declared an outlaw, condemned to death for a crime he did not commit. He lost everything in a single sunrise: his home, his name, his future. Hunted and alone, Robin fled not in fear, but in fury. He ran to the one place the sheriff's law could not easily reach, the ancient tangled sanctuary of Sherwood Forest. The forest tested him, hardened him. He learned its secrets, how to move like a ghost through its leaves, how to live off its bounty. And it was there, in the green shadows, that Robin of Loxley died, and Robin Hood was born. His first act was not one of survival, but of defiance, an arrow loosed from the trees, finding the purse of a corrupt official and sending his men scattering in fear. But one man, no matter how skilled, is only a whisper of rebellion. To become a roar, he needed allies. He found them in the dispossessed and the forgotten. His first and greatest was a giant of a man who guarded a log bridge as if it were a kingdom. John Little, they called him, in jest. They fought with quarterstaffs, a battle of brute strength against agile skill. Robin was sent tumbling into the river, but he emerged laughing, and in that laugh, John saw not a foe, but a leader. He pledged his loyalty, and from that day on, was known as Little John. Soon, others followed. The fiery Will Scarlet, the gentle Much, and the jovial, ale-loving Friar Tuck. This was no mere band of thieves. Robin forged them into an army with a single, unshakable law. They would take from the fat purses of the cruel and the greedy, the arrogant lords and merciless tax collectors, but they would not keep a single coin for themselves. Every piece of stolen wealth was returned to the people from whom it had been wrung. They became a legend, whispered in taverns and prayed for in cottages. They were a promise that someone was fighting for them. The sheriff's gold was becoming the people's bread. Within the cold stone walls of Nottingham, Robin had a secret ally, Maid Marian. Noble by birth, but a rebel by heart, she was his eyes and ears inside the sheriff's court. She walked a tightrope of deadly court politics, gathering whispers of the sheriff's plans, troop movements, and tax routes. In secret, under the cover of moonlight, they would meet at the edge of the forester's stolen moment of peace in a world at war. She was not just his love, she was the anchor that connected him to the world he had sworn to save. The Sheriff of Nottingham was not a fool. He was a patient spider, and he grew tired of this ghost in the woods. He knew Robin's one weakness was not greed, but pride. So he spun a web made of silver and fame, a grand archery tournament, open to all, with a single prize, a golden arrow, to be presented by Maid Marian herself. It was a trap, and all of England knew it. The sheriff was certain that the outlaw's vanity would be his undoing. And Robin came. Disguised as a ragged old man, he stepped onto the field. One by one, the finest archers in the land were humbled. When only he and the sheriff's champion remained, Robin drew his bow. The crowd held its breath. His first arrow split his opponent's dead center. The trap was sprung. Guards swarmed the field, but they had underestimated the loyalty Robin commanded. The crowd erupted, creating chaos, while the merry men, hidden in plain sight, launched their own attack. In the confusion, Robin snatched the golden arrow, bowed to a stunned Marion, and vanished back into the green embrace of Sherwood. Humiliated and enraged, the sheriff unleashed his full fury. He could not conquer the forest, so he would burn the villages that supported it. He could not catch the wolf, so he would slaughter the flock that fed him. It was a dark time. Cost of rebellion became terrifyingly clear. For every purse Robin stole, a family lost their home. The whispers of hope began to mix with cries of despair. Robin was forced to see that his war was being paid for in the suffering of the very people he sought to protect. Just as the shadows seemed poised to consume everything, a new rumor spread across England, a rumor more powerful than any army. King Richard the Lionheart had returned. He came not with a grand procession, but in the guise of a simple traveler, journeying to Sherwood to see this legendary outlaw for himself. He met Robin not as a king meeting a criminal, but as one warrior meeting another. He saw the loyalty of his men, he saw the love of the people, and he understood. The law had been broken, but justice had been served. With the true king restored, the sheriff's reign of terror ended. Robin of Loxley was granted a full pardon, his lands and title returned. He married his Marion, and the merry men were given places of honor. The man's war was over, but the legend was just beginning. For the people knew that even in the darkest of times, when laws fail and rulers are cruel, the spirit of defiance can take root in the wild places. The man may have left the forest, but the hood never did. He remains there still, a whisper in the leaves, a promise that as long as there is injustice, there will always be a Robin Hood.